Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time you may be listening. Welcome to East Terrace Interviews in partnership with the Stevenage Football Club podcast. It's role reversal this time. I'm hosting, and joining me as co-host for this one is the one and only Mr. Matt Farley. Matt,
good morning, Reece. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too shabby. I'm missing my football, but we'll this should help anyway.
I know it's a bit different, isn't it? Obviously the circumstances, but it is quite nice. And I think I just said this to you off camera that it's quite nice that I'm not hosting for a change. And I can just sit back and relax for a bit. Yeah,
you can just talk really.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm best at doing as well.
Yes, of course. Me and Matt and a few others are going to work as hard as we can to get some borough-related interviews and maybe some other sorts of interviews for the fans to enjoy. I personally am really buzzing for this one today and going forwards. As listening to all the interviews and podcasts, I have really thought that something like this would be worth it. East Terrace Interviews will have its own platform, but this episode will also be available as ever on the Stevenage Football Club podcast page. I'll make it clear we are not trying to step on anyone's toes. It's something I've discussed for a while, and everyone has a different style and different guests to have on. Anyway, enough waffling, and I personally am buzzing for this. I know Matt is too. We are delighted to have Borough's number one and the best keeper in the league, and most definitely the most nuts keeper around it is, of course, Mr. Paul Farman. Paul, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
I'm not bad. I'm just in my man shed at the bottom of the garden, fuming that I've got a mole in my back garden ripping up my lawn.
That's brilliant. Quarantine issues, eh?
I'm fuming. I'm so angry.
Is this what you are without the football? You're a gardener.
Yeah. How sad. It's not sad because people like gardening, but I'm 30 years old and I do like my garden.
I think that's what everyone's doing at the minute, aren't they?
I know. I've had the jet wash out. I've had my back's killing.
Which is keeping you fit, I guess.
Yeah, my calf's off playing darts. I've constantly leaning on my right leg.
So you're surviving without the football then? It must be a nice relief given the state of play.
Yeah, well, it's as mad as it sounds. Obviously, like we weren't in great form, and where we are is not great, and we know that. But obviously, I still enjoy playing football. I enjoy going and training. I love being around the boys and that with the banter. Obviously, that just tells you that we're not. We've got a good group of lads. It's just been unfortunate so far, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask that actually, because it must be so difficult, isn't it, to be in the position we're in, and then to have the break, and you almost want to play, don't you? Because that's what you love doing, but you can't at the minute, and obviously the position comes into play as well. So I can imagine it is very difficult.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, isn't it? It's like as much as like you boys are big fans, and we're the players. Obviously, we want to play and train our job, and you just want to come and watch and support. So it's a similar overriding feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine, definitely. And obviously, we've all listed you as best goalkeeper in League Two. That's got to be true, isn't it, Reece?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, that position come into play. So give us a quick insight into like a footballer's life during lockdown. Is Revs and Ash still cracking the whip, or do you have a little bit of freedom?
No, everyone's keeping fit. We've got an app called Strava that we've made as a group of players. We've made like a little a group on there of where basically it's like a little bit of competition, to be fair, because obviously it puts up your times of how quick you're doing over a kilometre, and so it's healthy competition, and everyone keep ticking over and keeping fit. It's just a lot of footballers. It's just a way of life for them to keep fit, and if you can't get out there and do a bit, I'll get in a foul mood, to be honest. That my missus will send me out if I'm not. if I struggle if I've gone throughout a full day and not touched the weights or done something like cardio CV work, and I just get grumpy about it. So
who's winning the competition on Strava, would you say?
I think when I looked yesterday, over a kilometre, I know Paddy's quick. I think he's like,
Really?
I'm sure he's on the 3-minute 50s.
Gee, 3-minute 50s per K.
Yeah,
My God.
I think Paddy's up there with it. He's a fifth boy from up north, so I'm not surprised.
My question is, who's the slowest? Who's the slowest?
Who is the slowest?
Nuge? Not you, is it, Paul?
Nah, Nuge. Nah, I'm not too bad at running. You know, I used to like enjoy doing pre-season and then running with the boys. But obviously now I'm not too overly keen on running. Like, but I'm getting when I give absolutely everything and give it a boot, I'll probably get 4:08. Okay, 4 minutes 8.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that's good.
But then it went on the last K, my knees are whistling, telling me to stop. Stop.
Do you know what? That's what I always do. I run quite a bit, and I always seem to go off a bit too quick. And then the last mile, it's just, look at asthma as well. It just comes into play with like 2K to go. It's the most.
I'm the opposite. I'll start quite slow because I'm not sure what I'm gonna have in my tank as I'm going round. So then the last 2Ks, I'm speeding up, but my body's telling me to stop.
Oh no, running problems, running problems.
I know. But no, life during lockdown as a footballer is everyone's just trying to stay fit, stay involved with each other, a lot of banter on WhatsApp, and just keep in touch really, and obviously keep an eye out for families, and if anyone needs a chat and out, you've got to be there for them.
I was going to ask actually, Paul, what do you make of the football club becoming like a care line? Because obviously that's been quite a big component over the last few weeks, and obviously it's been in the news, and obviously it's a great thing that the football club are doing, and I just wanted to see what you thought on it, because it's become like a big thing around the UK, obviously being broadcasted on the news, etc.
Yeah, like I say, it just goes to show. I talk about gardening again. I was doing my gardening, and my neighbour shouted over the fence. He said, "Oh, I've just seen your Mr. Chairman on the news." And it just goes as far, like, obviously I'm in Lincoln, and obviously then the my next door neighbours speaking about it. I mean, it's incredible for, especially, I think, like, as much as football does get a lot of bad press, that's unbelievable for a club and obviously the staff members to be willing to do such a thing at a crazy time. Like, who could have thought something like this would happen? It's mental, and you've got like people that at our club that are willing to put their life at risk, really, if to get such a awful disease that's like going around, virus.
Yeah, it's not great at all. But I think that's been a highlight, isn't it, of what the football club's done. Yeah,
it just goes to show. It goes to show what sort of club it is. Like, I haven't been here overly long, but match days and that, and when I broke my hand last year, obviously I watched a lot of football, and I got to know the women upstairs that do the food for the boxes, down to the ticket people, to the people in the club shop, and everyone's sound. I seem to get on with a lot of people, but I did think that obviously the girls upstairs are outstanding. When I was injured at the time, and obviously I wasn't playing, so I wasn't in the greatest of moods, but they looked after me with Rocky Roads and caramel shortbreads.
Fantastic.
As where we go from here, obviously I'm assuming as a footballer you just want to play the rest of the games.
Yeah, I spoke to Matt about it. He asked me a question, and I put it back to him. And he asked me. He said,
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I put it back to you, and obviously, what an achievement it would be to get out of the position that we're in, to do the great escape. Do you know what I mean? After a poor start, poor halfway point where we are at the minute. Do you know what I mean? It would be, as crazy as it sounds, it would be a similar feeling to probably winning the league, to get out of the position that we're in.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, but do you know what? It's really weird actually, because I mean we've had this chat race before, haven't we? I remember at the start of the season, I think it might have been Jersey actually, and we were all talking about how we thought we were going to get into the playoffs and be up the top. And I think if someone would have said to us then what would have happened this season, I don't think we would have believed it at all, to be quite honest.
No, you're right. I think if someone said that to me at the start of the season, I would argue my case with them and say I don't understand why you think that and how that's coming to your mind. But it's been a frustrating time, and it's been tough to keep everyone on the grass as well.
Yeah, I can imagine, definitely.
You said obviously you want to play and achieve the great escape. I know it seems a stupid question, but is there confidence that you could do that, or is it let's just have a go?
No, I think you've got to have confidence going into games. I think any team and any players, when you breathe confidence and people can see that from you, that it's gonna go into your games and into the way that you're gonna perform in that game. And I think you get the best out of people when you're under pressure. When you're comfortable, when you're comfortable, a lot of teams will stay comfortable. But when the pressure's on, it seems to give you that little feeling and think, right, come on, let's have a right go at this. And obviously, we fought that every game. We fought that from the start of the season to now. It's just you've seen it yourself. I've played it. It hasn't went that way. But since Rev's come in, he spoke about that, doing the Great Escape, and obviously what an achievement it would be. And hopefully we get set out to do that.
Do you think it? Do you think? Because obviously I've literally just got. Well, I think we all know the results over the last 8 games, but I've just kind of got it up in front of me again. And obviously, it's been a real tough time. I think we've lost 8 consecutively in a row. Do you think it's a confidence thing, Paul? Sometimes where we're in positions and we might let a goal in and the heads drop at all, and it's almost like, oh, here we go again type of thing, or because it's been such a weird last 2 months of football with some of the losses that we've had.
Not necessarily. I think it's tough, isn't it, when you get into a rut of when you lose it, when you've lost a lot of games, you kind of you lose that habit or the feeling of, you lose the knack of winning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to explain it. Someone asked me, manager asked me about it, what I thought about it, and I said it's tough when you've lost a lot of games, you're not used to winning, and then when you've lost so many, to win one game it becomes even harder, because then obviously when you do go in front, you're thinking, oh, let's just win this game. We don't need to be too flamboyant about it. We'll stay in the game, and we'll try and get another goal if we can, on maybe a counter attack, because we've had a lot to lose down where we have been in games when we've went 1-0 up with the thinking this is a good 3 points.
Yeah.
And then in kind of you're not thinking it, but it's like a reverse psychology where you're thinking, right, don't lose this game, and what a result this will be for us. We'll first win, and we can build from there, sort of thing. And I wouldn't say it's been like a confidence thing. And when we have conceded, we've put our heads down and thought, oh God, here we go again, because there has been a few poor games this year. But I think you might not agree. I think games that we have played, we've always had boys willing to throw the bodies in front of the ball, make blocks, make tackles, and maybe it doesn't look great at times. But me playing in the games and playing every game, more or less every game, I've tried my best not to accept that, and boys have been the same.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Do you know what? I really felt for you boys, because there was a couple of games where there was last minute goals going in, weren't there? And it was like, I mean, the ones that come to mind, Newport, I mean, the Plymouth was heartbreaking at the end, wasn't it? And I really did feel for you boys, because you could see that you were trying so hard, and we just weren't getting the luck, were we? In a lot of those games with last minute goals.
Yeah, last minute goals. It's no matter what level you play at, when you are 1-0 up and you're staying in the game and you're away from home. Like, if we won them games away from home, we would have been sat on the bus thinking, what a result that is, what a performance that is, to come away to these places. Like Plymouth away was tough. It's tough to go there. The form they're in, and obviously it's hard to go to Newport away. The way they play and the way the pitch is in other terms, but it was tough at the time. We took it on the chin. We spoke about it after the Newport game, and obviously the Plymouth game. We were devastated in the changing rooms, and that's what we were trying to remind ourselves. Like we we can perform like that. We can come to places and put on a performance like that.
How hard is it, Paul, as a footballer when you go through that experience of going to a tough place like Plymouth and, as you say, Newport, and we're in the game and we do let in a last second minute goal. How hard is it to kind of go back in on Monday as a footballer? Is it motivating, or can it react in another way as well? I can imagine it's really difficult.
I think it gets to when it does happen. Obviously, after the game, you're devastated, but then you have to kind of agree. And a lot of managers just say, like, right, okay, we move on. We spoke about it. We've dealt with it. We'll probably go over it Monday, but it's here now, and then we move it to the side, and then that's done. Now we have to focus on the next game. Take the positives from this game, and move and take it into the next.
Yeah, great.
Obviously, we had the period under Mark where we was just not quite getting the luck, and maybe rightly or wrongly so, we had quite a shift in terms of how we played and brought out and defended, etc. Under Graham. Do you kind of wish that you played like that, hoping it would change, or did it need to change style because we just wasn't getting luck?
What we changed? What you saying? We needed people thought, we needed to change style under Mark. Under
Mark, people thought we was boring, looking for the one goal, and it often cost us.
Yeah, I think. Well, during that time, I think I had quite a lot of clean sheets, and I was nominated for Player of the Month that month, in one of the months. And obviously, I can get people thinking, yeah, it might be boring when you're not winning, and there's a lot of draws going in, but it was. I think we were steady building in that period, and the boys were playing well, and we would say playing well, but after sport we were ticking over, and we weren't conceding. There's a lot of clean sheets, obviously that makes me happy, but it's quite a tough answer, I think, to replicate what I'm trying to say about that period.
Yeah. How was the camaraderie under Mark Paul? Because I remember when Mark took over from Dino, and he actually invited us up to the training ground to do the podcast, and like things seemed great. Like the camaraderie he had with Reds, and he was talking about how well everyone got on in the period that he was in. How good was it to play under Mark? Because he did seem like almost like a fun character in charge, and it seemed like he got on so well with the whole team.
Yeah, Mark's a really nice guy. Since he come in, I have nothing but respect for him. He makes time for everyone to talk to them. He's always asking players to like do a bit extra on the training ground after. He's just such a top man, and I've got on with him. I've got on with him really well, and I really enjoyed my time playing under him, and it was great. Obviously, you have a lot of respect for a manager that chooses you to be. He made me captain for one or two games, and I love that responsibility, and really give me that little bit of a boost when a manager puts that faith in you.
Yeah, definitely.
How similar are Samson and Reds as managers? Obviously, Samson was a coach before and so nice to everyone, so maybe it's a bit more hard to transition into being the boss. But Reds seems to immediately hold the respect of everyone because, well, it's Reds.
Yeah, no, I think them working together is a great partnership. Obviously, Mark's very, very knowledgeable of the game, and he's come through coaching the best way possible. And Rebs has played the game, and you've seen what he's all about when he plays. You know what I mean? Like he run through 10 brick walls in a game. Do you know what I mean? And probably run through 11th and the 12th and the 13th. And he gets the respect that he deserved, and so did Mark.
we'll talk about Stevenage a bit more in depth later, but we'll take a quick tour through goalkeeping and your career, really. So you was a Newcastle fan growing up. Who was your heroes? Who was the players you looked up to?
I'll give you. You can have a guess each.
Don't say Alan Shearer, please.
No
Is it Shearer?
Of course it is. He's the god.
No, I got to do it. He's a cracking player. I always remember when he scored at Borough, and it was for God's sake, honestly.
Yeah, he's a legend up there, and obviously me growing up watching the games, and obviously like going to school and people's old man speaking about it, and obviously him just banging in the goals and his celebration, and it was just such a like. We were like obviously them years just Newcastle were just. I just loved everything about it, like the players and that. Like me and my mates have done a lot of quizzes in my WhatsApp group over the last few weeks, and it's all been about like Newcastle and guess the era and who he played with. And I love watching them years back, like when they were entertaining as Kevin Keegan and that. The job.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here now smiling about how sad.
I bet you as kids, you always did the Shearer celebration with the hand up. And...
Yeah.
You wanted to be a striker, didn't you, as a kid?
Yeah, I wanted to be, and I was like playing up top for my school, and at my mum and dad basically just wanted me out the house in the summer. In the summer, one time they sent me on a goalkeeping summer camp. Like, and it was just across the road from my house, and then like after that finished, like a few days, like my local club contacted me mum and dad, and they asked us to go along to training and that. And I remember my old man was saying, "Oh, come on, we'll go along to the Astro and play some football." And I was thinking, why? This is just weird. Like I wasn't really bothered about going, and my old man was like, "Nah, come on, we're gonna go and play some football." And he took me to the Astro, and then I seen all this like team there, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm not getting out of the car. I don't want to play. I don't want to like play for these. I don't want to be a goalie." Anyway, I managed to get the manager come over to me at the time, Trevor Todd, like well known up there in the club that I was going to play for, and he managed to get me out of the car, and I trained, and like I never looked back. After the hours training session, I was buzzing.
Did you know from that early age, did you know that you always wanted to play football? There was no other thing that you wanted to do. It was just always football. Yeah, just always football. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's probably not the best thing to be saying, but I'm honest, I hated school, hated everything about it.
That doesn't surprise us.
I was just a terror. I hated it. I was always having my mum coming into schools and that. I just loved PE. Loved it. Yeah, anything in the classroom. Couldn't really be bothered with, but like when it comes to PE and that, like I just loved it. Hated losing. Bad loser. Still a bad loser now when I'm playing ball games.
And I bet she wins them all the time, right?
You know what? She's winning. She's winning the Yahtzee tally at the minute, which I'm furious about.
Oh, you'll have to go down with a pen or something and just sneak a couple more tallies on.
It is, mate. She's hit the crayons. It's my little girl's crayons. So.
Oh, fine.
Obviously, you played boys or academy football. Would you agree that it's massively different to how it was? I'm not calling you old or anything, but it's massively different to how it was in your day to now. Now's more development based, and it's not really about winning, really. But back in your sort of era, and maybe Matt's too, it was just about academy football kind of had a competitive edge.
Yeah, I do agree. It's changed like so much. It's all about development and all about, as like you say, not so much winning. But it's just, that's one thing that I was kind of gutted about if I look back in my career. Like I'd never come through an academy as a scholar, like clean someone's boots. I never got the chance to do that because I was playing a lot of boys club football and playing for the county. I was at Newcastle for a bit, and the reason why it says Newcastle in programs, in every program, home and away game, always says Newcastle youngster And I always think it's crazy because I was actually never signed for Newcastle. I was two of the boys, the keepers that I knew at the time, they played a game and they both got injured in the same game. And we had played the academy, Newcastle United Academy with my sixth form team the week before that. And obviously the manager at the time for Newcastle Academy, who was it? Oh my God, his name's gone. Anyway, he rang my coach from my sixth form and said, "Oh look, I want you to bring him in. He can come in like a 6-week trial sort of thing." I went, obviously, and then another weird thing that my coach pulled me into the office at sixth form is like, "Come on, I need to take you somewhere." I'm thinking, what the hell? I'm in the car, and as we're getting closer to the academy, I was like, no way. I was thinking, oh my God, I was like sat in the car thinking, what the hell is going on here? And then obviously I got pulled into the office and they explained the situation and they just said like, "Oh look, both keepers are injured at the minute. We want you to come in and basically kind of see what you've got for over the 6 weeks." And then about 2 training sessions in, I dislocated my shoulder.
Oh no, you're kidding.
So I played like 2 games in that period. I was devastated. But it happens. Like injuries happen. It's just, it is what it is. And the time I was there, I absolutely loved it. But going back to your question, it is so different now. Like it was still quite based on development because obviously Newcastle want young players to come through and be good enough and not just win games. They do want them to be good enough, but like it seems like there was still that nasty part in it, if you know what I mean.
When you were at the academy, Paul, did you play with anyone that have gone on to make it as well?
Let me have a think. I'm going through the team. James Tavernier, who's at Rangers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was younger. He was a year below, but he come in and trained quite a bit. And over that time, Paul Dummett.
Yeah.
He was younger, but he used to come in quite a bit. And I played with Jack Colback when he was in my county team.
Oh, I see. Good handful.
And he was a centre half. No, he's played everywhere for the county. He's like a centre half, but he was unbelievable. What a player he was when we played at that young level.
Who did he go on to play for again? I can't remember. It's
Newcastle, Sunderland.
Oh, that was it. Sorry, yeah.
So probably the most hated man in time past.
Well, it was crazy because when he was at Sunderland, obviously no Newcastle fan liked a Sunderland player, but then when he come to Newcastle, everyone liked him, and he done really well for a bit, and I think he got a bit maybe unfairly treated and pushed out, but.
Do you still talk to any of them now, like Jack Colback or?
Nah, not really. I think if I bumped into them, we would speak, but it's not a thing. Not like on mates terms. See what he's done there. He's tried to call me out on that, haven't you?
He's quite good at that.
Famous friends.
Football friends, yeah.
He's quite good at doing that.
Going back to the kind of how academies are different, do you have a preference? Do you think your way was better, or would you prefer to be a bit more nurtured?
Yeah, I would have loved to have done my schoolboy through having that coaching from such a young age. But now I would probably still want to do it my way, just because that's the way that I know. Like obviously, it was all about winning, and like especially when you're playing boys clubs in county level. When I was a young lad, it was all about winning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't so much about being such a good player, because we weren't at academies. We were getting coached off like our mate's dad. Do you know what I mean? On a Tuesday and Friday night. So it was all about winning and all about getting to like cup finals and being able to play at like little stadiums around the northeast.
And Newcastle, what would you say you're better for it? I mean, League One and League Two players everywhere now seem to have a release from their boyhood club story now.
Yeah, I know, and it's like you say, isn't it? To say, oh, it doesn't set them up right for life and that, but like can still look back, and if they don't get signed by the Boyle club you like to think over that time that club for so many years have learned enough about the game and should be good enough to walk in to be able to get into a League 2 1 conference club. Yeah. Is someone eating the mic here instead of the breakfast or what?
You went into men's football, non-league, really quite quickly, didn't you? You went to Blythe, so you went on loan to Washington. Now that must have been
crazy.
Proper non-league, really, at that age as well, to be exposed. Like there would have been men in that changing room.
So obviously my sixth form at the time was like Monksy and sixth form in that area where like we were well known for getting good players to come to the sixth form, basically to do the B-Tech and to play football. And my manager from at the sixth form knew a lot of men's teams around that area. And so since nothing come from Newcastle, I said to him, like, look, I want to get into men's football. Can you put me in anywhere? And he spoke to one club in the local area called Whitley Bay. And I went to one session and I was a bit like, whoa, nah, I don't think I'm ready for this. And I trained like a bag of dogs, so I didn't train great. And I come back and I'd train in the next day with my sixth form. And he kind of said, oh, how did it go? And I just said, yeah, it went all right, even though I was thinking that went terrible. Then he spoke to another fella at Blythe, at Blythe Sporting, Graham Fenton. And I went up to trained a couple of times. They just said, yeah, we'll take you on a non-contract basis. Obviously, I was delighted at the time. I was thinking like, wow, like I thought I'd cracked it because I was like, wow, I'm getting paid to play football here. And I think I was only like 17, 18 maybe, still living at home. I was buzzing, like delighted. And obviously as I trained more, I started to get a bit more respect from like the older men basically. And it got to a point where I was training, like wasn't like just on the bench and that. Then he said, oh look, you're not going to play. So we'll just send you out on loan to a club. And obviously that was Washington.
Did you have a say in that, or was it just you going?
Nah, I didn't really have a say, but obviously at the time when my granddad said to me like it'll be good for your son, so I said right, okay, come on. And I went training. I just thought, well, I'm gonna get an opportunity to play. You know, I was playing games in front of like 20 people and 40 people in that, but I think I was getting. He said, the manager at the time said, I'll give you £40 a week. But I'm taking £5 off you. I'm taking £5 out of it because you need to pay for the lottery that we had. Now at the time I was like, no way, you can't be taking £5 out, man.
Do you know what?
That's a fiver in my tank.
Do you know what? I've just had your. I was just looking at your Wikipedia page. I literally just read that as soon as you said that.
Which one?
On it. It's saying about £35 a week. So when you were only 40, then you took £5. I was like, oh, I just read that here.
And we got it in like a brown envelope, and got it like sometimes a fiver would be in, and then you would like forget to ask for it, so I'd be buzzing at the time, like taking 40 quid home, and I honestly think like I wouldn't change what I did back then because it just set me up like Nike in the game, like after the game, some of the boys were like smoking fags and that, like. It's just mental, isn't it?
But the old kind of that, isn't it? I was going to ask actually, Paul, what did you from those levels of playing for Blythe and Washington? What did you learn the most when you were playing for them and at that age?
Just the if we're not talking about football, just like the sheer ruthlessness of banter.
Really,
when you're going to get it, it's you're getting it. And it was good, and obviously I think because I got I gained the respect of the boys that were there at the time, just me being quite young and I was managing to like pull my weight about in training. I really got on with it, and that they kind of all took me under the wing.
Did they make you do like an initiation, like a song, or that you had to
Nah,
sing?
do you know what? I think I was that young. They were a bit like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Really?
It's not true.
Yeah, they weren't sure, but nah, what a group that was, that team, and what a little club, man. It was a great club at the time, probably still is.
A common sort of theme through your career is kind of you've gone out on loan and then you sort of get rushed back for whatever reason. Is that kind of the best advice you can give as a goalkeeper? Kind of just await your opportunity, it will come.
Yeah, I think obviously I hate not playing football. I hate is it right to say? Yeah, I hate watching football. I hate being on the bench. But sometimes you do have to accept it, and I get that. You hold your hands up and say, yeah, I should be on the bench. But I love crossing the white line and playing football. I love the nervousness like building up on a Thursday and a Friday, then the Saturday morning, then getting into your routine of like prepping for the game. I love all that, but I just think whenever I haven't been playing, I'm not the person, and I'm not the character that spit my dummy out. Never have done. I hate that. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I think for your team to do well that you're involved in, if you're spitting your dummy out and being like that, I just think it's a bit selfish. So I've never been the type to do that, and I just always just thought, get my head down and work, keep training, and if I feel like I'm ready at the time to be playing games, I'll speak to the manager and just say, oh, look, like I would like to go out on loan. I feel like I need to get some games in, as they're the most important. And I just said, like, I need to get games in, because if you want me to play and come back in and play for you, I want to be ready. I want to give myself the best chance, and that's what I've done. And especially the first real time where I thought, when I went out on loan, was when I was at Lincoln, and I went to Boston, and I was ready. I was literally speaking to my missus. I was like, I'm ready to go part time here. Like, I'm not. I feel like this is my way. I need to go. I need to play part time football, because I wasn't getting my chance at Lincoln at the time, and that was a frustrating time. Then luckily for me, the lad that was on loan playing at the time at Lincoln, his parent club said, oh, we're not letting them play in the FA Cup, so they called me back. And then from then on, I played the remaining season. But back to your question again, as I've rambled on, yes, I do think that is the best way. You need to play men's football. Like any keeper that I've spoke to over the time that asked me for advice, I said, I always say, people mightn't agree, I say, you need to play games. Doesn't matter what level it is, get in your belt, play games and play men's football.
You mentioned, obviously, Lincoln. That's probably your most famous spell of a player. We talk about men's football now. That was a men's dressing room. Matt Reed, Sean Waggett, people like that. That must have been intense.
What a dressing room like this. And there wasn't what wouldn't say scraps, but it was every training session. Like, well, imagine reading rags going at it in games when they played against each other. When they played against each other, they used to rip each other's shirts off the back when it was Lincoln v Dover. And Rags was the only person that I've seen more or less like get near Reedy. And obviously when we signed him the next year, I was buzzing. But then he still used to go at it in training. But it's good to see, and it was a great dressing room. Look, what we did there at the time was incredible, and it's a credit to the dressing room and the players, and we deserved it.
Talk to us about Danny Cowley. How good was he?
I've said it. I always repeat myself when people ask about him. He just never left a stone unturned. Everything was to the littlest detail, and he come in and just wanted to try and run the club like a Premier League Championship club, like Reds are trying to do. Like get the data, get the rehab right, get the injury prevention right, get the gym sessions right, have players not doing too much running during the week, where when it comes to a Saturday, they're not going to be peaking on a Thursday or the Friday session. The body's going to be peaking on a Saturday, like that sort of thing, like down to the littlest detail. the littlest things. And that end.
Did I hear you say Revs was similar to Danny Cowley?
Is in the way is in the way he wants to run his club, yeah.
Ah, right. I forgot what I was going with.
I was going to ask one actually, because I've just and I'm everyone knows the famous season that Lincoln had. I think it was the 2016-17 campaign where you secured promotion, but then you also had that amazing FA Cup run. I was just going to ask, what was that season like? Because I remember, obviously remember the FA Cup run and, beating Burnley and then obviously going to Arsenal and having that amazing tie. What was that season like to be a part of that team that not only won promotion, but also had that FA Cup run as well?
Just crazy. Just like mental. Like, it's just like things that as a kid, like you dream of doing. And like, it was like, we were doing it, but we didn't even realize kind of what was going on. We were just doing it. And we used to play some games and not play great and be like, how have we won that game? But then we'd just be like, because of the way we are and the way we were set up to play and our mindset going into games for different situations, we managed to deal with it. Like in the FA Cup run, that was like teams didn't want to really play us because they knew we were horrible to play against, and not as in horrible to play against, like just long ball and kicking it, like very old school. We weren't like that. We were just set up. We were well drilled as a team, and that season was just mental. Like, I'm in my man shed here, just sat on the wall, and it's got like picture of me and Peter Cech shaking hands and him giving him me shirt, and it just like when you sit and think about it, it's just crazy. Like,
and what was it like? What was it like walking out at Arsenal and playing? Because I've just read you played obviously in all the FA Cup times. What was that like to walk out in front of that ground, in front of that crowd, and the career that you've had? A defining moment in your career, would you say?
I don't know if I'd say a defining moment. I think it's tough because I don't remember it, because I was just that much adrenaline and butterflies, like from the full day, from the night before, from the session before, like being in the hotel and that, like it's just one big blur. Like, I can't remember really snippets of the game. Like, I remember like one real save in the game, and then the rest of it's just a blur because I was too busy like just looking round, but taking it all in, but not taking it all in. There's one photo like where you can just see me walking out behind Skipper Luke. I just got a little smirk on my face, but I don't even remember doing that. So it's just one big blur, but to do it in front of like that many fans and obviously my family and my mates being there was incredible.
Who was
like,
the one?
Just having a look over and having a cheeky wink to see like people there, and I'm like, I'll be on Match of the Day like later. It was mad.
What a brilliant story.
Who was the one player you watched on that pitch and was just mesmerised by, if you do remember? Who was the one that was just ridiculous?
Ozil.
Really?
Wow. He started on the bench, and I remember it was a corner, and Terry Hawkridge was stood beside me, and he was marking Oxlade Chamberlain at the time. And he said he was speaking to us, like he said, "Oh, my hamstring's gone," and I was thinking, result, he's got to go off, like he's going to be struggling. And I seen the ball go up, and Ozil come on, and he just hated the game. I've seen that no one could get near him. Not like, and I speak about it. I was like, when I have a joke about it, like the boys like now, like Jaws and Scott will be like, "Oh, you talking about that Cup again?" I'll be like, "No, I'm not speaking about it. Someone's asking me about it, so I'm asking."
Sounds like a bit of jealousy, that does, doesn't it?
Nah, they've had some great times in their career, but I do like to speak about it. I can't lie, why not?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
I just remember like during the game thinking like, how did teams come here and win?
Yeah.
They were going through a bad patch at the time, and I was thinking it was like just 11 red arrows constantly coming at you, and you're just like, wait, no, I'll never call a Premier League footballer a bad player, never. Never.
Do you playing in front of such a big crowd like that? Are you tunnel visioned, or do you notice it? Because obviously playing in front of I mean, I don't know how many there was that day, but I can assume there was over 50,000 people.
Yeah.
Is it very kind of tunnel vision? Do you notice it at all?
The breaks in the game, yeah, you'll notice it, but like during the game, you don't notice it. You're just on a green pitch with white lines on it, trying to get a bag of air off someone. And that's all. I think that's all you're trying to do, and just trying to stay as professional as you can as they're all going past me.
You had some insane last minute wins that season. You had Gateshead from memory. That was just unbelievable. 1-0 down in like the 88th minute.
Wow.
You had Forest. Was it that the season you beat Forest Green 4-3 in the last minute?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you at Burnley as well? What was if you could relive one moment of that entire season, the Brighton win or the Arsenal win, what would it be?
Winning the trophy, winning the league, and becoming a football league player. I always set out to do that. So I used to watch when I was in the conference. I used to watch a football league show on a Saturday night, and I used to always think, I want to be on that show. I so want to be on that show. I want to be able to watch my games on a Saturday night, and sometimes even be sat with my mates and watching the highlights, even though they'd never show saves on there, like they just show goals going in. Every time someone's got a vendetta out for me, said just goals going in, no saves. But I think to that moment, becoming like a football league player and managing to do it in front of all my family and my granddad.
What is the most toughest thing about that league? Because obviously at Stevenage we had it in the past where, you know, we were denied promotion and we tried so many years getting up and then we finally did it. But, you know, they almost kind of call that National League as like a League 3 now because there's so many big clubs. Like if you look at it now, you've got Notts County down there in Chesterfield. It's become like a League 2. Like, you know, what's the most difficult thing about that league to get out of it, would you say?
Well, obviously, because there's only 2 go up, isn't there? So, like, that's a massive thing straight away. But, like, I think the tough thing about it is, like, no team's the same. Then one team can be terrible one week, then turn up at your stadium next week and batter you. Like, it was just so, like, because there is a lot of talent in that league, and in some teams, they'll have one player where that player will just turn the game on its head. And it's a tough league. Like people always speak about it and say, "Well, how is it?" It's just like it's just a fact. It is, and only two teams go from it.
Is it the fixture congestion as well? Because I know that there's a lot of Saturday Tuesday games in there. Because obviously the amount of teams.
Like my last season in it, I think I played like nearly 40 odd games.
Wow.
Like we played because we were in we got obviously the league, the check trade.
Yeah.
We lost in the semis at that. Then who else? We lost what other cups? The FA Cup games as well. So like that's three competitions just there, all added up, and I think it was only me and another lad that managed. 3 lads that managed to play miss one game throughout that year. Then we, to be fair, we were the injured ones in the summer, and everyone else was sound.
To go from that to sort of playing here and there, obviously, so Lincoln brought in some top quality goalkeepers. That must have been tough to adjust to once you got promoted.
Yeah, I was devastated. I wanted to. I played the start. I started the season out playing, and it was great. At the time, maybe I thought I didn't deserve to come out, but the manager wanted to make the change, so that's what happened. And I just got my head down and worked as hard as I could that season to keep myself in the mix. To think, well, if I need to put him back in, he's going to be ready. And that year, I didn't play enough football, and the games that I did come in and play, I wasn't probably at the top of my game. Where people might not realise that, but me coming off games, because I'm my harshest critic, like I would watch the games after and think, could have done that better. could have done that action better. But yeah, it's in the keepers come in, Ryan come in, and obviously Josh come in as well, and they're both top class keepers, and it was nice to have like an ongoing daily like battle against each other, like do you know what I mean? Not like a battle of thinking we didn't like each other, but it was like an ongoing competition throughout that year. And I think in training that year, it really brought out the best in me, where I was constantly like wanting to be knocking on the door, not actually knocking on the door, but constantly wanting to put that question mark in the manager's head. Like every session, I wanted to come off thinking, you know what, like he's ready, but I didn't play enough football that year, which is a shame.
So you sorry.
No, go on, Matt, you're fine.
Oh, I was just going to ask. Sorry, I was just going to say, you know, how was it in, you know, you make that kind of step up. What was that day like when you made, you know, your debut as a professional footballer? Because I can imagine it was pretty awesome, you know, to have, you know, a really good career as you've done, and then to make your professional debut. I think was it against Wickham? I think it was.
Wickham, Akinfenwa. Cheers.
How was that though? You know, you go, you play, you know, for Blythe, and you have that career, and then you have that day where you know you can say that you've made it as a professional footballer.
Yeah, it's great. I just remember so much like anticipation leading up to that game, and I think we drew 2-2 in the end. Obviously, it would have been nice to win on your football league debut, but it was just class to be able to like get in promotion the year before with that club, then playing for them in the football league the year after. Like it was just a massive buzz. And once it come to the realization, kind of settle down that year football league player, you just get your head down and crack on again.
And then you're able to watch the football league show later. Then.
Exactly. And obviously I played against that beast Akinfenwa. I just remember once like they just banged it from back to front and they were good at it. And I remember their keeper, Scott Brown, is like on the halfway line. He just kicked the ball central into the box. As I'm running to come and get it, I've just seen Akinfenwa just running towards me. And I thought, well, I'm either going to bounce off him or just not move here. And we both went up together. And he literally, I've come flying. I've managed to catch it anyway, but I've come flying and I've like not just with everything I've got, and I've just hit him and not moved. Literally. I just hit him and dropped.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Is Lincoln where you learned your time wasting skills?
I think I get unfairly treated about it. I don't think I do too bad.
Do you know what? I agree with you.
Early in the season.
No, I feel like, well, just that year, I think a lot of teams, a lot of fans just seemed to just as soon as I had the ball, just seemed to be screaming at the ref, or the opposition manager used to be telling the fourth that I was taking too much time. Then refs started just to label me for it.
Really?
And just like some. I've had a suspension this season, like through most of my college, like through time wasting, which is just silly. And maybe
I remember that.
Go on, sorry.
I remember when there was a moment this season. I can't remember what game it was for the life of me. And I remember someone said to me, "I think Paul Farman did about 6 bookings." And I went, "Really?"
Yeah.
I might have done.
Yeah, I was.
Do you thrive on the crowd? Basically booing you as you take a million steps from the ball, do the Farman spin.
Yeah.
Do you just love winding them up?
I wouldn't say I try to do it. I just think it's just that's just kind of the way that I play. I don't intentionally try to antagonize it, because it doesn't come across very professional. But like if you are going to give me stick, I'm just going to smile and just smile and wave. Do you know what I mean? I'm playing football. I've come here. I want to beat your team. When I walk off at the pitch after, win or lose, I'll usually clap the away fans.
Didn't a referee whilst you last season at MK Dons, I think it was, say you came from Lincoln or words to that effect? I know your game.
Yeah. I think something got said along the lines from that. I think it might have been MK Dons. If I just remember him saying, I don't know if it got said before the game or something. The ref said it to someone, or he just I just said, look, even before the game started, you've got it in your head that I'm going to time waste. I just said you can't do that. Like that's you can't not come into a game thinking I'm going to time waste. I just think that's it. That's pretty unfair to come in and do. But
sorry, carry on, Paul.
But like what as you've seen this year is no good getting into an argument with them, because they're running the game at the end of the day, and obviously you do want them on the side, but I don't want to get booked and get fined.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah.
Me and Matt will obviously know, but Stevenage obviously had a dirty, ugly reputation, and we think, well, definitely last season, we felt it affected us in terms of the amount of penalties we got. I think we got 3 penalties all season. Do you feel like referees have a bit of an agenda at times?
It did feel like that at times, and we did have some meetings with people that work for the Referees Association or the FA. They come in. We did have some meetings, and we did think that we did get a bit targeted, but it was just like it is what it is. Yeah, and we're just gonna have to deal with it and just try and obviously speak to them politely and speak to them how you want to be spoken to, and then hopefully they'll look after us.
Moving back onto Stevenage, was it just first team football that sold you it? Because didn't you buy a house in Lincoln and then Dino came knocking?
Well, I bought the house the year before, yeah, and I was kind of, after that season, I was thinking like I had another year on my contract, and I just got to the end of the season. I was like just gutted. I was just thinking, I haven't played enough football. Like, I don't want to. I want to play football, but obviously I don't want to. No disrespect to the conference, I wanted to stay in the league, and I was thinking like I'm not going to get a league club, and I was coming to the realization of that, and obviously I was coming to the realization that I might have to leave Lincoln. So I was obviously gutted, but I was like, I need to do what's right. I put everything to the side. I need to do what's right for my career. And what's happened in the last 2 years is put me in the best stead to be able to do that. And obviously Stevenage come knocking, and I was just like, right, let's sit down, talk to me, granddad, my old man, my missus. We just found out she was pregnant at the time, so I was like, oh God, like, I'm going to be away.
Timing of the century.
I was saying to her, like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I'm going to be away, like, quite a bit. And to be fair, my missus was, like, dying at the time. She was like, look, you need to play football. This is the best thing for us. Like, I've got full trust in you. Like, go and do it. And then, obviously, I agreed to come down and sign and that. And I was just buzzing at the fact that, obviously, I was going to be playing football again and getting that feeling back of when you win a game, or like on a Saturday afternoon.
What? Obviously, you've gone from Danny Cowley to Dino, who think both are quite similar in their intensity, shall we say. What was Dino like to work under? Obviously, it's 50-50.
I just think at the end, when he obviously had been told that he was no longer a manager of the club, I just texted him and just said, thank you very much for giving me my chance again in League Two, and give me a good crack at it.
What was he? I don't want to say too hard, but did he work the players hard on training? Obviously, I know managers should do that, but I imagine the sessions that Samson and Rebs have on are very, very different to the ones Dino and, say, Jason Goodlife had on.
It was it's harder for me to tell you that, because I would always be working with a coach. So, but I think obviously I think at times maybe I think all managers make mistakes. All managers are going to make mistakes and always learning that maybe 1 week one week they might work the player too hard and think, damn, I shouldn't have maybe overworked them this week because of that's the reason we might have fell short in that game. So I think it's as myself, I felt okay because I'm just doing what I usually do, dive about, which can be tough. And some coaches think that some managers and coaches think by working the boys a bit harder and doing a bit more, I'm going to get the best out of players. And at the time, the goalkeeper coach, he thought the harder I worked me, he got the better out of me during games. So I just went with it.
What kind of management style do you prefer? Do you want a manager pointing at your chest and going, I kind of need this from you, or do you prefer the more like nurture Samson? The nice kind of approach.
I think obviously you want a nice approach to the manager, but like you want it like as Mark as well as an example where they do have that switch where they can. Do you know what I mean? Like demand that
Mark
from you.
Have that switch then? What could he be quite demanding and quite not aggressive, but that kind of style when times were tough because we had some poor games.
I think definitely, because I think although we weren't winning, and obviously some games we might have played great, we were scrapping and we were getting points and clean sheets, draws. So he demanded hard work from us and to run hard in them games. I thought the boys did.
Yeah, do you know, I agree. I said this to you before, Reece. I actually thought under Mark, I thought we improved actually. I thought he made us like harder to beat. And as you said earlier, Paul, you know, you kept a lot of clean sheets in the period where Mark was manager. So I mean, obviously we don't see the training sessions do we, Reece, but from an outside point of view, it seemed like things were improving under Mark, to be honest.
And I think obviously it's from a fan looking in, obviously because we didn't start great, then obviously there's a change in manager. People are going to want to win games like us ourselves as players. We want to win games. Our life is better when we win football matches. But I always remember who said it. Jimmy Walker, when he was at my goalkeeper coach at Lincoln, said to me, "If you can't win, don't lose."
Yeah.
So now I just think, obviously, that's a good thing to go by, but obviously you can't just go out to settle for draws because you're going to lose games. But if you feel like in that game you can't win, and the other team's constantly on top, don't lose.
Yeah. Matt, do you have a question? I lost my train of thought.
I was just going to just go through, you know, some of the issues with the team on the pitch. And the one I was just going to say is obviously, I think from a lot of our Stevenage fans, we really have looked upon you as, you know, the best keeper in League Two because, you know, the amount of clean sheets, and I think we've got like our defence record, I think 16th or something in the league with only 50 goals conceded, considering we're bottom. Has there been a lot of pressure on the other end of the pitch? Because there's been a big debate in this season about, you know, the goals that we've been scoring and that, you know, we haven't scored the amount of goals, you know, that we should be scoring. Has there been a bit of a pressure, you know, with those players on the other end of the pitch to put the ball in the back of the net because we haven't done it too much this season?
I think as a player anyway, I think you take that responsibility. If it's your job to try and score goals, you're going to take that pressure and try and take that responsibility. If you're a defender, you're trying to keep out goals and you have to take that pressure and responsibility that people are demanding from you. And obviously, if it's not going right, obviously some people, as a player, you might overthink it, but it's like you say, it's a fact. We haven't really scored enough goals this season, nowhere near enough goals. And it's not down to anyone individually. It's we go out as a 11-man squad plus the bench plus whoever else during the week. We have to do it collectively. You can't pin it on one person to perform and score just for themselves to score goals.
Have you always felt that there was enough character in the dressing room to overcome the tough spells? Obviously, we had a horrendous start. That can be really tough, and obviously we had quite a few youngsters in the team at this point. Have you always felt like there was enough experience, enough character in the squad to overcome it, and it just hasn't worked out?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy the dressing room. I said it at the start that we've got a great bunch of lads. It's just been so annoying and unfortunate that we haven't won as many games as we wanted to do. It's just it is frustrating as a player. Like we always go into games think we're going to win, and some games we haven't won, and you can never be too high and never too low, because you have to come back in Monday and you have to work hard again. You have to prepare for the next game.
Do you almost feel like last season's run towards the end of the season was almost covering it through a few cracks, really? Yeah. His chair helped hide a few things. We were winning games, and we had a great run. We had a great run in the back end of the season to get us up there. And obviously, to have a player like Ilias Chair, who we brought in, was, do you know what I mean? I said it earlier. He's a sort of player that turns games on its head, and he done that for us. And luckily, he was doing it week in, week out.
Do you think
for him to be able to do that from where he had come from and hadn't played a lot of games was outstanding, so fair play to him.
Do you think we would have, if we would have made the playoffs, do you think we would have got promoted? Possibly.
Well, I just think no one would have wanted to play us, and we were in good form at that time, so I can't see we would have given ourselves a great chance, wouldn't we? I feel like that anyway.
Going back to this season, obviously the defensive record got significantly worse underground. Was that because we were trying to score more goals, or was it just the team started to figure us out a bit defensively? Did anything change?
Maybe a bit of both. Obviously, whenever there's a new manager comes in, there's going to be a change in maybe personnel who's playing and maybe the way that they want us to play. So obviously it's going to take. We weren't going through a good period, we weren't going through the best of periods anyway, and obviously the change of that how we're going to play. Obviously that can take a couple of weeks, however long, and obviously it just didn't. It wasn't working for us, and teams were still managing to win games against us.
Graham Wesley, you would have heard a lot.
He's got a lot of respect from people at the club, obviously, because whenever someone mentions like Stevenage, obviously it's all a lot of the success is come from under Graham and what he's done for this club. So what he's done in the past has been outstanding. So fair play to him, and obviously he's got a lot of respect.
Would you say he had the respect that when he came in for you guys, or was he just not the right figure, or was it just one of those things where we just couldn't get a result, really, apart from Cambridge, of course?
Yeah, I just think we just couldn't get a result. It's just so it's hard when you're scrapping every week and you're that desperate for a win, and when you're not going to get it in that time, it's very frustrating. And I don't think it's about any lack of respect in that. I just think it's just down to just football is a results-based game, isn't it? And when you aren't getting them, it does really seem to kick you in the teeth.
That's the funny thing, isn't it? Because, we all remember the 4-0 win at Cambridge, and I think for a lot of us, it was like, we finally turned the corner, on such a tough season, but it just didn't come out like that, did it? But I think we had the Football League trophy, and I think that was a 3-0 loss, wasn't it, against Exeter? And it just seemed like, when we got that result, I think that was our first away win as well, where, we would have thought we were going to turn the corner. It just didn't work out, did it, after?
No, it's such a shame because we played really well. Like what was like just a proper away performance, away performance win, and obviously after that we didn't manage to string the results together.
Do you think that the Football League trophy had a bit of not a bad impact, because I think it got us a few wins as well, but with the distances that you had to travel on a Wednesday and Tuesday night with those important games, did it have an impact, would you say? Maybe as a player you might feel it more in your legs, like travelling. Obviously it's not ideal. I don't do as much running as the boys, but you would never want to use that as an excuse. You know what I mean? And we haven't used that once. But obviously away on a Tuesday night to Exeter, there's no doubt about it. It's pretty far away, and there's not a lot of people come and watch them games. But we still went there to win. But we come up against some good teams and that. And obviously Exeter have been throwing the punches this year.
What was the toughest result to take this season? We've had a lot of sucker punches. Which is the one that probably hurt the boys and you the most? Me personally, probably Newport, because I thought it was another great away performance to go to Newport, who are doing well, and a hard team to play against, and to obviously concede late on was really frustrating. I thought the boys done outstanding, and we watered the storm quite a lot in that game. We were performing, and then just to concede late on always hurts. When you make, every goalkeeper obviously makes mistakes every season. When you make mistakes, and obviously the high pressured situations we found ourselves in, do you find it harder to recover from, or is it just that's the life of the goalkeeper?
I think when I was younger, you probably did used to hinder on it more, but just like now, you have to accept it. It happens. You can't change it, and you move on from it. And I think that's the side of the goalkeeper that you have to be strong at. But everyone's going to make mistakes, but it's a bit like cliche, isn't it? It's life of a goalie.
I'm gonna ask you about a few of your teammates whilst at Stevenage that have caused debate. First one, Curtis Guthrie. To the outside, he looks not so much lazy, but we questioned if he was a good influence. But it's like Scott Cuthbert said, he can frustrate the life out here, but his talent was just it was superb.
That's the best. That's the best way. Like the when we had that great run in towards the back end of the season, it always sticks with me, that goal away at Mansfield where he just Ilias
unbelievable.
It was like Dennis Bergkamp chested it, just banged it. Like Kurt's got so much ability, and I think it's quite hard for some players how their talent shows. If you're a player where you're a runner, you might be the best of footballers, but you know what? You'll run all game. You'll tackle. You'll win second balls. Some people think, outstanding game, but then you've got another player where he'll give you glimpses of it, but he hasn't been in the game a lot. And then you think, he hasn't played really well today, but he's gonna score a bicycle kick in the 93rd minute.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Curtis, when Ilias was there, you really got to see his ability, didn't you? That period where Ilias came. I think the other goal he scored was at Port Vale, where we got the ball and he was like 50 yards, and then he ran all the way and bang goal. His ability really did come out, didn't it, in that period, Curtis?
Yeah. He he used to frustrate the life out of me in training as well. I used to have my battles with him. Like, because obviously whenever we used to go up against each other, I used to just turn my switch on a little bit, because I used to love keeping out forwards. I love forwards not scoring goals past me in training. So, he's got so much ability, and hopefully he's going to get that chance at Bradford to showcase it.
But my next one's Ben Nugent. How good is it to play behind a defender like Ben Nugent?
He's just obviously he's played at a high level. He's been around good players in his career and that. And obviously I get on with him really well. I always get on with my defenders. He's quite similar to me, as in like personality and banter. We get on and we have lovers tiffs in training and in games. So he's, I love players that are just willing to put the bodies on the line. I think I'm that sort of like person where I love seeing like players pull off blocks and that. That's, to me, that's as good as scoring a goal. Do you know what I mean? And Ben, he can be a man mountain at times, Nude. So, and he's got them crazy eyes after like 15 minutes into a game. You know he's on it.
I want him to tackle me. My God.
Yeah. Who has the best banter in the dressing room? Who's the best to have a laugh with?
Besides me. Nah. Joe Leasy, who coming on loan from Harrogate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in my car school, and I used to think about it now. I used to be crying in the car sometimes, like at him, just ill laughing, especially because like we're both a bit more northern from you Southerners down there, so. Like it used to be sometimes like some of the boys would be like, "Oh, here come the northern boys!" Like you can hear them. So we got on like a house on fire. Spent a lot of hours in the car together. So yeah, I would say Joe, and Scott is quite dry. Jaws is dry and funny. So
do you know what?
Joe Byron's funny.
Do you know what? When we did the podcast with Mark, I'm pretty certain that he did say that you were the funniest, actually. I think.
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
I just love being amongst that's one thing that I've really missed about not being in training, just amongst the boys, just the banter day in day out. Like,
a different sort of question. Who's the biggest voices in the dressing room? Obviously, Scott's going to be one.
Yeah.
But you might need a translator when he does it.
Yeah.
Is there any other? Is there any others?
Scott, like you say, Scotty's voices when he speaks, do you know what I mean? That you listen. He's a club captain, and the way he comes across and how he speaks is really well. And obviously, it is a struggle to understand him sometimes. And you've got Diggers as well, who's a communicator. But I think I think this year everyone's trying to chip in and do that, because we know in games we need to demand it from each other, and we've tried to do it as a team. But I think I always think, like, obviously not too many people, as you've got that's the reason why you do have your club captain and is in such a good player as Scott. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll promise we'll let you go soon.
That's right. I'm just playing darts as we speak, so I can.
Oh,
yeah.
How good are you at darts?
I've improved. We used to play a lot of killer.
I love killer.
Oh, yeah.
At football, so obviously there's been a lot of arguments on that, actually, to be fair. And obviously they all say I cheat and that, and I just changed my number, but obviously I forget.
Actually, I remember at the training grounds, I remember Mark was telling us about a table tennis tournament. I might be wrong. Be wrong.
Yeah,
who won it?
I don't know in the end, you know. I think I still think the final needs to be played.
No. All these months later, really?
Yeah, I still think the final. I think there's like 2 games that need to be played, because obviously a lot of times when we've been training and having games, people didn't want it. Like I think the management staff, and then some of the boys that have been injured, obviously can't play table tennis, so and they've been in that game. So I think there's only a few games left, but I imagine we'll find out when we get back, hopefully.
Yeah, I remember when he was talking us through it, and I remember saying to him, "Who's the biggest cheat?" And he went, "Ben Kennedy." Really? He was, yeah.
There's, to be fair, the standard of table tennis I do watch is very good. There's some good players in our team table tennis.
Oh, fantastic.
How good can Rebs be as a manager in future? Obviously, I know you've had so little time under him, but he just kind of, I know it sounds strange, but looks like a manager.
Yeah, definitely. I think as a manager he can go as high as he wants to be. He's a clever man also as well. Do you know what I mean? And with him playing at the high levels that he has and the managers that he's worked under, he's gonna take the good things that he's learned and put into his managerial career, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got nothing but respect for Revs, and I've been lucky enough that I was able to shell the ball about 50 times a game to him when I did play with him.
Farley, you have questions, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, we tweeted out that we got so many questions, but I've whittled them down to as small as, because again, we don't want to bore you, Paul. To be honest.
I don't mind.
There have been so many. I think we got over 50. I think in the end, so I've had to really whittle them down. Some questions that people have sent in. Matt has sent in a question asking best defender that you played alongside. Also, what do you do when you're second choice keeper trying to get the number one spots?
Best defender. Well, obviously, I've played with some unbelievable defenders, like obviously Scotty, Luke Waterfall, Sean Raggett. I remember playing. I don't know if anyone would know. Yeah, I don't know where he come from, but he came in at Lincoln when I was on loan. He was called Richard Hines.
Yeah.
He was old. I think he was an older fella at the time, but he was quality. I don't know. I think I'll probably have to go. I'll probably just because of that year and how he was, probably Rags, Sean Raggett.
Sean Raggett.
Yeah, he obviously scored some big goals, and he's just a pure animal, absolute animal. And he's such a sore loser like me, so
hand in hand.
Yeah, we got on.
I've got another question here. An ex-teammate, Johnny Hunt, and I do find this one very funny.
Yeah.
And Johnny Hunt has asked, how many haircuts does he have left?
So this is the thing. Like Hunty I think he wanted to go and get a hair transplant.
Oh, okay.
So I think he wanted a hair transplant, and he was like speaking to me about it because he's really self-conscious about his hairline.
Yeah.
And so obviously we used to get onto about his hairline, and obviously he never used to take it quite well. So then obviously he tried to flip it onto other people.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
What he's trying to deflect it basically, but to answer the question, he's probably got about 5 hairlines. Probably about five haircuts left, and that's it.
I found a picture of you at Blythe Spurton.
I'm looking at it right now.
Beach blonde hair. What were you thinking?
I was. Why did we do that? I think I think it was a Friday night when we were at school. Was I at school or sixth form? Anyway, we've ended up just going buying some hair dye and dyeing with hair. Then obviously that week, the week after, the Blythe Spartans manager rang me and said, the keeper's injured, we need you to play Saturday in the FA Cup game against Buxton away. And obviously my first professional men's game of football, that was my photo. And
absolutely love it.
That's still on the Sky Sports app, I think.
It is.
Really?
Who spends the most time on appearances in the dressing room? Who's the most protective? I have an idea in my head who's the most pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
You know what I mean, in terms of spends most time on his appearance.
I would have said Curtis Guthrie from an outsider, but obviously...
Yeah, Kurt dresses well, and obviously...
I was going to say Charlie Carton.
No, TVC. I like TVC's got some good gear. Yeah, TVC. I think, yeah, he's got some good trainers and that, and fresh tracksuits.
Who's the worst?
Interesting.
Worst dressed?
Yeah, worst dressed.
Ben Nugent.
Oh, no! Ben Nugent.
Yeah, Ben. But he styles it in his way, so...
Yeah, well, it works for him.
It works for him. Exactly.
What is his hair about? That's my question. Has he cut his hair yet?
I hope not. I hope
that helps.
I hope not. But no, I think he's really. He just said he wanted to grow it, and obviously, I think he must just be attached to it now. And it's that long. When you've done it for something for that long, obviously to just cut it off.
Yeah. Well, we all thought as fans. I remember it might have been like end of last season. It might have been this season where people were saying, oh, you know, when he scores, he's gonna cut it off. And I think it was in Jersey when he scored that absolute rocket.
Yeah.
And everyone just assumed it was going to come off. The next game, it was still there. And it was
I think that's huge now. I think you'll always have long hair like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you'll always have long hair like that. No, to be fair, he pulls it off. To be fair, I don't mind it.
Fair play. I've got a really good question actually from George Shelford. George has asked you, Paul, if you was a manager and your number one goalkeeper made a howler that cost his team the game, would you drop him or would you keep him in the side to prove you had faith in him?
I think if I was manager, I wouldn't. If a keeper makes one mistake, I wouldn't want to take him out because then you're going to put your number two in, then he's going to be playing thinking, oh, if I'm making this one mistake, I'm going to get took out. So I think you would want to show that you've got faith in the keepers and obviously letting them know that it's not just one mistake and you're out, because then over the season a keeper is going to make more than one mistake. So you're going to. I wouldn't want to be chopping and changing my keepers.
Yeah,
but that's my opinion. If I was manager, I don't know if I'd be any good manager. But
is it something that you want to take up in the future? Do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't think I would like to be a manager. Obviously, I wouldn't mind to be a goalkeeper coach and that. But whenever people say, "Oh, what do you want to do after football?" I haven't thought about that yet because I've worked so hard to get to the point where I am. I want my whole focus on my career and to be able to play to the best ability I can and to the highest I can. So I don't want other stuff to be taken over. When I retire, I want to be able to look back and say, you know, I give it a right go and I've just got no regrets.
Is there a certain goal that you want to achieve in football that you haven't?
As a career, I can't actually talk about it. I want to play. I just want to play as high as I can. I want to. Yeah. I don't want to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd done this, or I really wish this had happened. I just want to be able to look back and just say, like I answered before, like I give it everything I got. I don't want to be sat in around me dinner table when I'm old saying, look at this. I want to be able to say I've done it and look what I achieved.
Would you say you have no regrets? Sorry.
There is one thing I would love to be able to put on my mantle. Like I'd love to be voted into like team of the year of the league that I'm in. I think that would be quality.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you've been held on to that for this season, to be honest.
I think it wouldn't be far off.
There's a lot of good keepers in this league, and obviously it would be a great achievement to get. I just think to get that respect from the other teams in the league that you play against, like players and managers, like that. Like I think that's quality. I think I'll really, that would be one that would take a bit of pride.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's the hardest worker in training? Who would you say? Who's out there 30 minutes after the session's ended working on set pieces or whatever?
Hardest worker. Let me think. I'm picturing myself finishing training and who would. Oh God.
I remember Mark and Rev saying it was Jamie Fielding.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Fieldy has done a lot. Yeah. But I think it's one. It could be one of the forwards. Like the forwards have always stayed out and done quite a lot this year. Because like that's quite not what normally happens. Like forwards after training always want to do some finishing. So I'd say one of the forwards. Yeah. Cowley, to be fair, Cowley does a bit. Yeah, I'd say Cowley's up there for doing a bit extras at the end. Charlie Carter as well. So one of them too.
Without meaning to dub one of your teammates in, who's the biggest teacher's pet?
Biggest teacher's pet. As in players, or can we say some staff as well?
You can name staff for sure.
That's an interesting one, actually. Yeah.
It's got to be Belly, hasn't it? Kitman, top Kitman.
He loves it.
Do you know what? Like he doesn't get enough. Well, to be fair, he does, and people do mention it. But what a guy! Like absolutely does anything for the players. Like he's such a top man. Belly, such a top man. And obviously, I think when you do like have a bit of banter with him during the games and after games and sing to him, like I think he loves that. And obviously, he loves being around the boys, and obviously we love having him around us. And he's not a bad darts player as well.
Is he really? Is he good at dance? Is Keith a good dance player? Is he?
Considering how short he is, yeah.
It's so funny with Keith because like Keith's been a fan for years. He's been around the club for years. And I remember when he was made kickman and the banter he got from a lot of the fans because obviously he used to stand on the terrace and stuff. So It is great that he's in there and he's involved. He has worked hard for Keith.
Yeah, he's what a guy, what a top man. But I would say, yeah, he bends over backwards for anyone. So I would say he's his pet.
Brilliant.
Do you have any more questions, Matt?
No, I'm done, mate. I've tried to whittle all the ones down. Yeah.
Give me another. Give me one more.
One more. I tell Reece, how about you do one from you and I do one from me?
Yeah, come on.
Oh.
Put you on the spot.
My mind's gone blank. Obviously, mostly since you've been there, you've had club men like Stevenage people. Would you say that's a benefit or maybe a hindrance, and almost they care too much and they might overthink certain things?
Say that again. You broke up a bit there.
Sorry. Since you've been at the club, you've mostly had Stevenage men sort of in Dino and Revs and Samson with the system before. Do you think having a Stevenage man helps, or would you say that it's almost a hindrance in some ways, having club people there?
No, I think obviously it helps because they know a bit of the background and stuff, and they know how some things work in the club that people might think different, and then they can say, no, like this is how it works here. So this will be easier for you if we go down this route and do it. And obviously having someone in there who obviously loves the club is an added bonus.
Matt, you're up.
Yeah, my question was because obviously we obviously rate you so highly being at the club, and I think for a lot of I'd literally say pretty much every fan I think would say that you're our player of the season, undoubtedly.
Thank you very much. That means a lot.
No, honestly, you deserve it. You've been absolutely phenomenal. But my question really was just to say, do you see a long future with Stevenage, or is it just one of those things at the minute where you're just taking it in your stride and just seeing how the career goes?
I think at the minute, mate, with how this with the circumstances that we're in, like obviously players are up. There's some players that are up at the end of the year, and the club and the F and ourselves, we don't know what is happening. We don't know what the crack is with contracts when when they would be offered, like what happens when the contracts up. Like, I don't think clubs can even speak about offering new contracts because, like, when are they even going to start? Like, I just think it's mental, but I can't see why not. I can't have a future at a club that I really enjoy playing for. Since I've been signed, I've been welcomed there, and I feel like this year and the back end of last year, when I come back into the squad, I've been able to show what I can do and what I'm willing to do on match days.
Yeah,
I know I said one more, but I do have one.
One
more. The fans that stayed after Salford and Crewe, was that amazing to have in the dressing room? Is it an amazing push-up because it was quite demoralising defeat? How good was it that you had that level of support despite it easily could have turned toxic?
Yeah, I think I can't remember who I wrote up for someone. I wrote about it for someone, and I think it was on Twitter. But yeah, I mentioned it before. Like, I just said it, like, it was incredible for the fans to stay behind and do that after the games that, like, we unfortunately didn't win, and it just showed. I think we actually were on the pitch, like, stretching, and none of us actually said a word. We were just like a bit taken back to be like, do you know what, like, fair play. Like, as long as they know that we're grafting with socks off, and we are willing to put shifts in for the club and for the badge. Like, we want you to know that, and for you to return that favour is like it's a good boost for us. And like you say, things do turn toxic at football clubs, and we're fortunate enough that it hasn't happened here. And you lads and whoever else is on the terraces is stuck by us, and let's just say hopefully when we do get the chance to return, we can maybe look back and say that could have been a turning point in our season.
Yeah, most definitely.
Thank you so much for doing this, Paul. You're a legend.
Yeah, Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you, lads. Thank you for having me on. Hopefully it'll come across well. And you won't need to put any interpreters on it.
And honestly, once again, mate, thank you so much for all you've done this season. You've been absolutely brilliant, and yeah, it's just been a pleasure to have someone, you know, with a character like you at the club and in the team, and you know, we'll back you through thick and thin, honestly. So thank you so much.
To hear that, mate, as players, I'm sure they'll probably listen. Like, we do appreciate it. We're not just robots. We do have feelings as much, and have feelings towards the club like fans do. And to hear that's great.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Farms.
Not a problem. Enjoy the rest of
Best
lockdown.
of luck getting your mower out the garden.
Mate, I'm gonna get my driver out the shed, and I'm just walk around the garden until it pops his head off.
Do you know what? Before you go, actually, I'll have to quickly mention that I did think your toilet roll bicycle kit was absolutely amazing. That's why he's probably popped up when he's heard me land on that floor. He's come up really because of it.
Yeah,
unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah. But no,
Brilliant.
Enjoy. Hopefully we'll be back soon, and we'll be able to. We'll know what's happening in the future. But thank you very much for inviting me on.
Anytime.
Mate. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. You enjoy the rest of the day.
Hopefully.
Yes,
you.
it's crossed.
See you soon, Farms.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.